Do you know what a cross-up is? A cross-up is when a pitcher and catcher get their signals crossed, and a catcher is waiting for a fastball, and then it doesn't have to be a fastball, but a catcher is waiting for any pitch, and then a pitcher throws a different pitch. How do you know when a catcher gets crossed up? Well, a catcher's in a certain position to receive a breaking ball, as an example. So when you watch a breaking ball, the catcher is taught to set up as though it's a fastball with the glove facing up. If you're not watching this on Nothing Personal with David Samson YouTube, and please hit subscribe if you are, but my hand is up, fingers to the sky. Then once the pitch is thrown, then the catcher changes to fingers to the ground, glove down to receive the curveball because the ball is going to curve. Can you imagine if your hands are up, your glove is up, expecting a fastball, then it's a curveball. Your glove stays in the same place, and the ball bounces and hits you right in the canuck of the joint. Now think about it the other way. Think about when you're expecting a curveball, you move your glove down, waiting for the bounce. The ball never curves. It hits you in the chest protector. That's called a cross-up. In last night's Yankees-Astros game, Framber Valdez did something that Mike Hampton would never do. Framber Valdez had a problem with the pitch selection by his catcher, Cesar Salazar. He wanted to throw a curveball, but instead threw a sinker. And Trent Grisham said, that didn't sink all that much. I think I'll hit a grand slam. And so he did. And then 2 pitches later with Volpe up, Framber said, you're calling for the curveball? I think I'll throw another sinker. And the catcher was not quite prepared. The catcher looked at Valdez. Valdez looked at the catcher, turned around in disgust, which caused a melee after the game, a scrum of media going to Valdez and his interpreter, and Valdez had to quickly say, following a meeting with the manager, might I add, nope, that was not a cross-up that was intentional. My bad. Well, let me explain how this actually works. I've never seen a cross-up that is not intentional. Because when a catcher puts down a sign, and that's the old days, 1 finger, fastball. There's a big difference between 1 finger that the catcher puts down and 4 fingers. That's a changeup. When they put 4 fingers down and they move them around like they're doing the hokey pokey, that's a changeup. There's no mistaking it. But today's baseball is different than my baseball because there are no more fingers where Charlie Sheen has to squint his eyes because he needs spectacles. Now, all you need is an ear that can hear, because in the ear, there's something called pitch comm. A catcher presses a button. Then everyone who's got an earpiece, there's an infielder, there's people in the dugout, the catcher, the pitcher, it's called pitch comm. They hear curveball, changeup, slider, lice, locus. That's a Passover reference. Come on, stay with me. The plagues, the 10 plagues. Anybody? Let's get back to the story. It's a sound, and it's not like beep, or it's Morse code where you have to remember, wait a minute, is beep, beep, beep. Is that curveball or fastball? No. Beep, 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 beep. Change up. No. It's the word. And don't worry, it's the language you need. It's not like Framber Valdez heard, wait, was that sinker or curveball? Sinker, was it suh or suh? Because if you don't know and you didn't hear, you step off and you point to your ear, you call the catcher up. That's not what Valdez did. And why would the manager need to call in the pitcher and the catcher after a cross-up if it truly was, oh, sorry, I misheard it? Calls him in to make sure, hey, when we speak to the media, let's be very clear. Let's be clear that that was not intentional, Framber. It is impossible for me to believe that that was not intentional because Valdez was upset with what happened 2 pitches before. And if you look at the video, after the cross-up pitch, Valdez turns around and walks off the mound. Now, people could say, oh, that's because he was upset that he crossed up his catcher. No. He was upset about what happened 2 pitches earlier, giving up the grand slam to Grisham. I don't care what he said after. Now, this is not the end of the world, but there are something that you should know about the relationship between a pitcher and a catcher, which is why I referenced Mr. Mike Hampton, who was on the show last week. I learned this lesson. I didn't know this. I learned it my first 2 weeks in baseball when my GM was a World Series winning pitcher named Jim Beattie. And Jim Beattie taught me, don't you ever blame the catcher for any pitch that's thrown in a game. And I said, why not? And he said, because pitchers have the final decision about what they throw because they throw it. And if a pitcher makes an excuse after giving up runs that they didn't like the pitch selection, that's not the kind of pitcher we want on our staff. We want a pitcher who takes control of the game, who throws the pitch they're comfortable with in the scenario, circumstance, count, hitter. That's why you study. That's why you know tendencies of hitters and matchups between yourself and the hitters, because you know what you like throwing. And if the catcher has called a pitch you don't want to throw, don't throw it. Houston dealt with it quickly. It's all done. It's not going to be talked about again, except by me, because it is a sign of a team that is just not as together as you need them to get. Because a simple cross-up I've had, a simple cross-up where, oh, criminies, I had the wrong number, we're good, and that manifests itself the next pitch. Right after the cross-up pitch, you see the catcher and pitcher, they come out, they have a little meeting, and they slap each other with their gloves on the tuchus. That's what we always say. One good tuchus slap, and then everything's forgotten. Listen, a lot of people get through life with that. Didn't happen that way in Houston.